back to That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
And welcome back. Glad to have you with us. Happy New Year. Our first new episode in 2024, and grateful to have you with us. And Ed Morrissey rejoins us from hotair.com, and you can read him 24/7. He's always posting and got great stuff there and great insights. Ed, we were talking about the elections of 2024. You know, there's a congressional election that's going to be on the ballot as well. And people are rating the 2023 Congress as the least effective in modern history. And when you look at the drama that played out, Republicans had a thin majority. Do they hold on to it in 2024 from your perspective?
You know, I think it's going to be close. And the reason why is because American politics is so evenly split right now. And I think the House it reflects that. It reflected it in the previous Congress too. I mean, Democrats had a majority, but it was a 9-seat majority. I think that we're getting to a point now where the split in the country is starting to be reflected in splits in the legislature. You know, the Senate's gone 51-49, 50-50 over the last couple of sessions as well. So I don't think that do they hang on to it? Maybe, but I don't think that either party would end up with a really effective majority in either chamber. And in part, that's because of candidate selection. In part, that's because they're talking past voters. But in part, it's just because voters are pretty much 50-50 in the country. And they're getting the representation that reflects them.
Let me ask you this. Let's pose a hypothetical. Trump becomes president, but loses the House. The Senate stays where it is. What does his agenda become in 2025?
I would guess it would focus on the border because that's the one place where he had some significant success. One of the places, I should say, that he had some significant success. And one of the places where he can operate without necessarily too much engagement with Congress. The problem is that even if Biden wins a second term, he's not going to get much engagement from Congress either because it is just so evenly split. I'm not even sure they're going to be able to get a budget through. As we're talking about this, we're still debating on how they're going to try to get it through. So my guess is that whoever is the next president is going to have to rely on executive power, which is, I think, dangerous anyway, but really is the only way where things are going to get done. And the accomplishments will be reflected in that. That would be, border security and foreign policy.
Let's jump to foreign policy. We've seen the China relationship change under Joe Biden. We've seen the Russia and Ukrainian relationship kind of morph under Joe Biden. We've seen Iran thump its chest and get very bellicose under Joe Biden. We've seen his slow support of Israel and kind of slow walking the help needed at times, and even pressured to criticize and be critical of our most important ally. How does all of that change if Trump becomes the chief executive?
Well, I think we go back to the status quo ante, right? Which is focusing on Israel's relationships with the Sunni nations, the Abraham Accords, that was a Trump initiative, and it was very successful as long as Trump was in office. And to be fair, Biden's tried to continue that.
It's still held thus far. I was about to say, let's be honest, they're hanging in there. They've not attacked Israel or gone on the offensive, so that's good.
Well, in part, that's because they see Iran as a threat. Right. And that's the thing that really changed with Biden, is that Biden went back to Barack Obama's appeasement policy with Iran, which weakened our influence with the Sunni nation. So if Trump comes back, I would guess that gets reversed back again. We start putting a lot more maximum pressure policies on Iran, and that will change the dynamic in the Middle East.
What about the war between Russia and Ukraine? The former president has said he would end it quickly. Do you see a resolution coming if he's elected?
No, I don't see a resolution coming to that. And he said that an awful lot. Russia wants to reconquer its former imperial territories, and they did it in Georgia in 2008, and they did it in pieces now in Ukraine in 2014 and again in 2022. The only way that ends is either Ukraine gets rolled over by Russia or Russia gets rolled over by Ukraine at this point in time. And since I don't really see that being realistic in either direction, my guess is that this war goes on whether Donald Trump likes it or not.
KT McFarland has called it another forever war. Is that how you're describing it?
forever war, it's going to last as long as there's no resolution to it. And I think part of the issue that we've had in Ukraine, and for that matter in Gaza, is that we keep freezing conflicts when they're not really resolved. And we think that the freeze is a resolution. We tried to freeze the conflict in Ukraine in 2014. It didn't work. Russia still wanted to invade Ukraine, and they did. And they didn't even have a pretext for it at that point in time. They just waited until they figured that they were strong enough to get it done quickly so that the West wouldn't have time to react.
Ed Morrissey of hotair.com. We're getting a kind of sneak preview of what 2024 looks like. Stay with
us. Ready or not, he'll be right back. That